guys, how's it going? What's up? Alright, so I went surfing on Kijiji again. I always get into trouble. Well, kinda. So I picked up a Fender Frontman 15G, 15 watt amp, 8-inch speaker. Not too shabby, you know. Looks pretty good anyway. But anyways, it does have ports in the front because it is a closed back unit at the back end. And you know, when I'm looking at my Music Master amp and comparing it to this one, the Music Master's got a 6.5-inch speaker. This one's got an 8, and I'm like, wow, man, Fender should have made a way bigger box. But we get what we get, right? It's Fender for you. That's what they did. But at least they did some nice things here. They put a mid-range control. So you do have bass, middle, treble. You've got a separate drive control and gain control for the dirty channel. And of course you got your normal channel with its own volume. And so both channels do share EQ. Also it has an MP3 player input on it, or CD player, whatever you want to hook in. And it actually works really good. Let me see if I can get this thing to fire up. And the sound stays clean through this line in port. So whatever music you want to jam out to, whether you want to use the built-in distortion or use a pedal, doesn't matter. It'll all stay clean with it. So that's actually really nice. You do have to control the volume through your MP3 player. It seems that the volume doesn't do anything on the amp for it, neither does bass, mid, or treble. So it's kind of like a direct in, and this is what you get. So whatever your device can put out, it pushes it through there. So it's like, alright, well, that's kind of a cool little feature. Although, are we ever going to use it? Well, me, no, but maybe you guys might if you got that feature on your amp, because a lot of amps come with that feature now for MP3 input. And of course, it has your standard everyday headphone jack. So I figured I'd do this with the Strat. Hey, Fender to Fender, right? Let's see what it sounds like. I still got a little bit of dust bunnies to clean up on it. I got the switch all cleaned up. It was a little staticky, so that's all back to normal now. So a little bit more staticky stuff. I'm going to take it apart and see if there's any bunnies inside. But anyway. Set at 4. I've got bass, mid, and treble right at 5. And so let's add some extra bass. Like full bass would be nice. There you go, full bass. Go to the bridge. So the controls are pretty responsive. Stand firm that Fender made too small of a cap for this. Being at 4 on the volume, I can tell there's a little bit of breakup once you get up there, but I mean that's 10 on the bass, so let's knock the bass back to say 3. Really didn't help a whole lot. Let's put some drive in there. So, drive volume's on 2, gain is on 7. And we're going to put bass, mid, and treble at 5. Start the bridge pickup. Drive volume is at 3, gain is still on 7. Treble's on 2, mid 5, bass 5. Let's see if we can crank this up a little louder. Drive is at 5. Okay, full bass, middle on 2, treble 2. Little obnoxious, this little thing. That treble is really super responsive. Oh, that sounds pretty good. Let's put the bass at 7. Mid's off. Treble 3. Drive volume 3. Okay, enough of that. Jeez. I have to throw that on a humbucker guitar. And we have one. But anyways, I traded my spare Joyo kit that I wasn't using. And figured, well, what the hell? You know? And, because the guy wanted like 75 bucks, and I'm like, not going to happen. But I didn't mind the Joyo kit. I don't use the spare one anyway. But I think not a bad deal overall. 15 watts, good horsepower. The cab is way too small though for an 8-inch speaker. It just really is, you know. It could do a lot better with a bigger cabinet. Bass could use a little bit more thud to it, you know, but you can shape and dial the tone with the 3-band EQ to a certain point, and then I guess you'd need an EQ pedal after that. And but I think, you know, for a beginner practice amp, or a practice amp period, even if you're not a beginner, I don't think it's too bad of an amp, but you gotta really watch that mid and treble frequencies, because they are quite responsive and quite high, so you're gonna want to dial those back. You know, that's the one thing I found a little bit different about my Fender Mustang amps, is, you know, they only have bass and treble control unless you program through the software to get mid-range out of them. The bass wasn't all that responsive, but it is much cleaner and smoother, and so is the treble than this thing. But I mean, you're talking two different amps, but still same company, right? Still both Fenders. But I think they made this one a little on the too tinny side. Now that could be the speaker that's in there. You know, for what they chose for an 8-inch full-range speaker. Could be any number of things, but it is ported. So it should be able to thud out a little bit better bass, I think, but it does have some decent bass response, you know, and I think they could have gone less on the treble and mid, and those things aren't hard to modify if you know what you're doing. You can, you know, dial those back quite a bit more, even from dialing them down, and then bring them up on a little bit different frequency range, and I think they'd be okay. But you're going to have to watch the hearing, though, if you're going to crank this thing up in the room. I would definitely get some hearing protection, especially if you're going to crank up that treble and mid, you know. But I think overall it's not too bad of an amp. I still think I got a pretty half-decent deal overall, you know. It's not too bad. And it is in great shape. You know, the guy said it was mint, and, well, I wouldn't say it's 100% mint. I mean, cabinet-wise and everything, it's pretty mint shape. I had to get a little static out of the dry selector, so I shot some silicone spray in there, and that cleaned it up that fast. You know, but I'm going to take it apart and, you know, check out the insides and see if there's any little spiders living in there or cobwebs or something, you know. And I'm kind of curious what they did use for a speaker inside. But for a 15-watt amp, I mean, I didn't even crank it full blast in here, guys, and that thing is still pretty good and loud. But I think the biggest downside to that 8-inch speaker is actually the size of the cabinet is actually too small. I think with a bit bigger cabinet, and you know, maybe at that point, you know, these 2-inch ports would be a little bit better, because these are about 2.25 inch ports. I think they would function better in a bigger cabinet, not in a smaller cabinet. So they could have probably gotten away with, you know, doing something a little different that way. But I think overall, though, Fender did a half-decent job with it. I think they did all right. You know, it is solid state, and it's a straight, you know, outright amp. It's not a modeling amp. It just has your clean and dirty, and that's it, you know. And I kind of like that part, you know. And there's always room for improvements. You know, maybe if I get my hands on a blue marble speaker, maybe I'll throw that in there, because the blue marbles sound really nice, you know. But yeah, not too shabby. Would I recommend this thing? Definitely for beginners. Yeah, intermediate and higher end guys probably would not like this, because they would want something bigger anyway. But if they did, you know, that's fine. But I would say great little beginner amp to start with. 15 watts is a lot of power. A lot of power. And I've said this before, that people don't realize the whole wattage game and how it really works. But even 10 watts and 5 watts in a guitar amp is a lot of power, a lot of noise, a lot of sound, you know, but, you know, you want it clean too. And like I said, you can dial stuff down and clean it up pretty good, you know. That's not a big deal, you know. But if you start bringing the controls up, like I said, they are quite responsive. They do have a lot of response on them, so I think dialing them down and finding just the right mix for the treble and mid to go along with, you know, maybe 7 or 8 on the bass would be nice. You get the volume up there, though. It gets a little breaky, even on the clean. So I don't think you're going to be able to push it too far on the clean side before it's going to have a natural overdrive going on. You know, just because there's so much power for such a small cabinet, you know, and that actually makes the amp break up more a lot sooner. But you can certainly keep the levels down and keep it pretty clean. Anyways, that concludes this one. So let me know what you guys think of this little amp. Now I just gotta find a place to stick it. I think I need another milk carton or something, or somewhere to put this thing. And I'm collecting more amps too. But it doesn't matter if it's Fender, Ibanez, PV, I don't care. I'm collecting a bunch of amps, you know, and that's fine. You can't have too many anyway, right? So, it's kind of like guitars. Can't have too many. They're all different. Catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.